All right. So, I haven't done this video in a while, and I need to. It's one I've keep meaning to do, but finally just decided today that I wanted to do. Um, so last time I did this video, I um, I talked about. Let's see, what did I talk about? It's kind of an introduction to music, kind of an introduction to what I want to talk about. So I kind of did a little bit of introduction in music and how to analyze it. I went over a few rules that you need to remember when analyzing music. And then I got into a little bit of the history of it and just kind of how music has developed over these past 100 years. Um, and now I want to start getting into what makes music up. What makes music hit that part of the brain and light it up? And it just appeals to your soul. It makes your hairs on your arms stand up. What makes music do that? So the first part I wanted to talk about today um, was the lyrics. Now, if you know, I don't want to say that. If you write music or you spend a lot of time listening to music, you know what the lyrics mean to a song. Now, not every song has lyrics, as I mentioned in my past video, and it doesn't necessarily have to have lyrics to make a great song. There are some really good songs that don't have lyrics in them. However, a majority of the music that we listen to every day does have some sort of lyrics in it, and they can make or break the song. One of the things that a song needs to have as far as its lyrics is that the lyrics, they need to make sense, right? So, you know, I can be talking about all these different things depending on the genre. So let's say it's a country song. I could be talking about how I've got a truck and I've got a girlfriend and I've got a dog and I drink beer, yada yada, all the stuff that goes into a country song. But if none of it connects together, if I interject random sentences, it's like an essay. You can't just throw a bunch of sentences out there and expect it to be good. It's not. It has to make sense. It has to flow. And I think the biggest problem, or the biggest area we see a problem with this, is rap. Again, I'm falling back on my knowledge of music. So I'm not someone who doesn't listen to rap saying, "Oh yeah, a lot of rap sucks because it doesn't make sense." No, I've put in the time. I know what's good and I know what's not. Rap songs tend to have an issue with their lyrics. A lot of times their lyrics don't make sense. Just it doesn't flow. Yes, they can talk about, you know, their girlfriend's big butt, and they can talk about their cars and their money and their guns and their drugs and yada yada yada. But unless it makes sense, unless it flows, unless it has a central meaning, it's just words. And people who know rap and who don't just listen to whatever's popular, but actually listen to the good rap, they know what I'm talking about. They know that there are some rap songs that people don't listen to simply because it's just crap. So it needs to make sense. Unnecessarily choice. I don't remember what I meant by that. For me personally, and I've probably mentioned this before, swearing, bad language in music doesn't necessarily bother me. And the reason is sometimes people use it to express a situation where those words fit. And that is not always the case. Sorry, it dropped me because it's screwing up. sometimes, sometimes that's okay. Now, there are certain people, and I honestly should be this way, but because of who I am and the way I see music, I don't. Um, some people do choose the clean versions of songs. They don't like any swearing, they don't like to listen to it. And I can really see the validity of that because it's foul language is not good for your mind. It's not, it doesn't make you seem smart, it doesn't make you seem cool. It's it's really slang. It's really a lazy way of talking. Um, so I can see the desire to not have it in your music and to not put that into your mind and into your heart. However, that to me takes away the originality of the song. If there is one F word in the song, it was put in there for a reason. Now, if there's 60, well, maybe not so much. But if there's one, the artist specifically put it in there for a purpose, for a reason, because he wanted to express an emotion. And if he had to rewrite it, he wouldn't take it out because it's supposed to be there. And I'm the same way. If I'm going to download a song, if I'm going to add a song to my library, which means I've vetted it completely, it is 100% top quality, I'm not going to hinder that quality by trying to find a version where those words are bleeped out or whatever. And a lot of times it'll mess up the song, it'll screw up the rhythm, and it will lose its appeal. If you've got a song or a word that's skipped, it ruins the song. Um, so profanity in the lyrics isn't always a bad thing. Let's see. I already said that. My biggest complaint, if I had to narrow it down when it comes to lyrics not making any sense, is Queen. Now, I will get a lot of grief for this. I already have, and I will argue this every day because there are some people that absolutely love Queen. I don't. I don't understand how they were so popular. And honestly, if you look at it, Queen wasn't that popular with the people of that time. It's more popular with the kids now. I think because it plays into a little bit of that hipster streak, because their lyrics don't make sense. They have a song about riding a bicycle. It doesn't make sense. Bohemian Rhapsody, none of the lyrics make sense. They don't have a central theme. It's just a bunch of random sentences. And to me, that's not music. That's you took some sentences, you sung them to some music, and you're making millions off of it. I don't understand it. That's not art. I'm sorry, it's just not. So I don't see the appeal with Queen. Um, there are certain songs. "We Will Rock You" obviously is a really huge one by Queen. That is a good song. That is the exception. There are a few more that I'm not going to get into, but for the most part, Queen just doesn't. They don't have that quality in their music. That's how I understand it. Some people may view differently.
Why are you in here?
Sorry, I might get interrupted a lot. I don't know if you can see this. I'm in the army now, so my privacy has kind of gone to crap. So I will probably have to pause the video a few times just to not include people in the video. Another thing that really, really drives me crazy is repetition. If you have too much repetition in a song, it deters away from the meaning. And you'll know, I think, if you pay attention, certain songs will have it and you'll be like, oh, I understand what he's talking about. Another really popular one is "All Gold Everything" by Trinidad James, or "Diamonds." just pretty much the same exact lyric over and over and over and over again, and it it has no value to the song. The song doesn't last for more than 2 or 3 years before nobody listens to it anymore, and it just gets pushed by the wayside. Those are not the kind of songs that end up in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, particularly because they have no value to them. So have you can't have a song that has too much repetition in the lyrics, or else it won't work. Um, the vocalist has to be good. The vocalist from the band has to be good. One of the biggest examples I can give for this is Blink 182. If you listen to Blink 182 from the very beginning, around the 1990s, up until 1999, into 2000, around that time, they switched vocalists. They fired their first vocalist, which was really good because he sucked. His voice was terrible. And they hired a new vocalist, the guy that they have now. And that's when their songs became popular. None of their songs before him really sold. All the Small Things was their biggest hit, and they created that song just after they hired their new vocalist, and that's what gave them their fame. That's what gave them their fortune, is because they realized, hey, we're not selling any songs. Our vocalist kind of sucks. Like, yeah, he's from the original band that we started, but he's not good. And so they switched him out, and immediately they saw results. So that will also make or break a song. If the vocalist is poor, if he's got a poor voice, if he doesn't know what he's doing, the song won't connect with you because you'll be distracted with his terrible voice. And the Offspring, they never learned that. The Offspring, their vocalist is absolutely garbage, and I really wish they would have fixed it, but they never did. Alright, let's see. I'll go into music a little bit, and then I'll wrap this video up and try and edit it all together. So when I talk about music, I'm talking about not the song altogether. I'm specifically talking about the part that's not the lyrics and the part that's not the beat, the tune of the song, all the instruments that are included, the timing, all of that. That's what I'm talking about when I say music. It needs to flow with the words. A lot of times I will see songs where the lyrics are going at one tempo and the music's going at a different tempo. And you'll listen to it for 4 or 5 seconds and you'll be like, well, this is stupid. This isn't a good song. And you'll skip it. And artists when they'll try and figure out, like, why isn't our music selling? Well, it's because you're not timing things right. Your lyrics, they don't flow with the music. And if your lyrics and your music aren't meshed together, if they aren't seamless, it's not going to sell. And we've seen that through the songs that have made it and the songs that haven't. A lot of the times I will see artists have to, well, not a lot of the times. Actually, I've only seen this very few times. When the music will actually have to stop or pause so that the lyrics can catch up. It will absolutely wreck the song. It won't sell. It won't. The music cannot stop at all. It can't. Now, there are some times where the music will pause and you'll hear a beat, or there'll be like a solo, a drum solo, or whatever. But that's not the music stopping. There's emphasis on what else is being included in that time. Sometimes you'll hear it in rap songs. If a rapper is spitting a whole bunch of lines and he doesn't want to be drowned out by the music, which can be fixed by a good studio artist, honestly. But if he wants to pause the music so that he can be heard clearly, that's different. Um, but I have seen some artists who will stop the music so that or they'll slow down the music so that the lyrics can catch up, and it's terrible. Um, and it's like nails on a chalkboard for those that can recognize it. Um, when you're creating a song, you want the tune to be you want it to be one of those that gets stuck in your head. Now there are certain songs that you probably absolutely hate. Um, the Gummy Bear song is one that I've heard that gets annoying. The Barbie song will get annoying, but they were made as commercials, and the advertisers that hired those composers and those composers of that music were absolute geniuses. Simply because I'm gonna fix this a little bit. Simply because that tune got stuck into your head. When you first saw that commercial, immediately all you could think about for the next day was gummy bears, was Barbies. Those tunes that get stuck in your head, those really, really popular songs, you'll sing them to yourself, you'll hum them to yourself, and they may drive you crazy, but they're really, really good, or else you wouldn't sing them. Now there are some exceptions. That was actually a decent song. There are some exceptions, but for the most part, the songs that get stuck in your head are the really good ones. And so if you are creating a song, you want that song to be popular, give it a catchy tune. I promise it will sell. You also kind of want your music to be unique. I've seen this with a lot of DJs, a lot of electronic music. The sound will be the same, or it will be almost the same in every single song. If that's the case, you will have one hit and all the rest will be duds. You need to create a unique fingerprint for each song. And if you do that, and that makes it hard because not every song is going to be a hit. Not every song is going to be the best song ever made. You may be a one-hit wonder, and your other songs only sell, a few hundred contracts. Only a few hundred people will buy your next song, but your first one was selling millions. That's just the life of the music business. It's not going to help you to create 6 different songs with the same tune for every song, even if you alter it a little bit. It doesn't work. So create a unique tune. If you create something that's unique, something that no one's ever heard before, I promise it will stand out. People that know recognize it. I certainly do, and that's what I look for when I'm looking for music that to add to my personal library. I look for something I've never heard before, and if it's good, it goes into my library. Allows you to recognize this song. A part of that also is when you create a unique tune to your song, people recognize it. And I don't know if you've ever been to a high school dance. I'm trying to think, because my church does a lot of dances, so it's a little bit unique. But if you go to a high school dance, if you go to prom, and a song starts playing that's really, really popular, the moment it starts playing, it'll get 3 beats in, and people will start cheering because they know what song it is. And they love that song. They'll get pumped up to that song. If you create a unique song and it becomes popular, people will instantly recognize it. People will want to listen to it on the radio, listen to it with their phones, figure out which song it is, go home and buy it or download it, whichever they do. You want that. You want that popularity. Let's see. There's multiple dynamics. Let's do it. needs to fit the tone of the lyrics. This is a big one. If you are singing a happy song, you can't have slow music. You can't have music with a deeper tone. You can't have a whole lot of bass. Your lyrics, your music has to fit your lyrics. If it's a depressing song, you need it to be depressing. You can't have high pitched sounds with depressing lyrics. It doesn't fit. You want both the lyrics and the music to fit what you are feeling when you write the song, and that's really, really important. Because if somebody's feeling depressed, they want to listen to something that helps them process what they're feeling. They want something that helps them understand what's going on in their head. I've been there. I've been there way too much, honestly. And the best songs that have helped me through it, and I can create a list if you guys want to in the description. But those are the songs where both the music and the lyrics, their mood reflected my mood, and that is extremely important. So make sure your music and your lyrics reflect what you're feeling when you write the song. See, if you've ever seen Disney's Cinderella, when the Prince and Cinderella dance for the first time, it seems perfect. That's what I imagine as a dance between the lyrics and the music. They just fit perfectly with each other. But this means both the lyrics and the music has to be flawless. This can be hard to do, but not impossible. Your lyrics and your music need to be seamless. They need to be inseparable. One of the things that I've tried to do to a song once is I tried to take the lyrics out, particularly because the lyrics weren't to my liking, but I really, really liked the music. It was one of Kygo's songs. Kygo is my favorite DJ, just because he's such an artist when it comes to his music and what he does. But I could not take the lyrics out. The reason is because the lyrics were recorded in the background of the music, which means I couldn't just pull the music out. I couldn't just pull the lyrics out because they are seamless. They are recorded together. Your music and your lyrics need to be seamless. If your music sounds off tempo, if your music doesn't flow with the lyrics, you're going to recognize it and it's going to turn you off. In every sense, you'll be like, it's not really what I want to listen to. Doesn't really sound like something I would buy, because it doesn't give you that sensation. We listen to music to give us that dopamine in our minds, like I talked about in the last video. We want that trigger. Music is a drug. It activates the dopamine in our brain, and it gives us the sensation that we crave. If a song isn't seamless, if the lyrics and the music aren't seamless, that dopamine is not triggered, and we'll move on to something else that triggers it. When you don't have lyrics in your music can't be plain. Your music can't be basic. If you're writing a song that has no lyrics in it, that music needs to be extremely dynamic. And it needs to be loud, because you don't have any lyrics to drown out. So make it loud. Don't make it to where people are trying to hear all the little different details in the song, because most people, they can't hear that. They can't hear it unless you express it. People like me, people who have the ears for it, they can pick those little sounds out. They can recognize those. For the people who can't, for the people who aren't paying attention, who just want to listen to music, want to listen to good music, you have to emphasize those little things. If you're taking the time to put those little half measures in there, those little half notes, those little details that make your song unique, you need to make it recognizable, or else it's not unique. people won't see it as this special creation that it really is. Let's see. Use consistency in the music. I talked about in the lyrics, I talked about how if the notes or if the lyrics are repeating, if it has too much repetition in it, it ruins the song. It's not the same way for the music. The music needs to have repetition. The music needs to have a consistency throughout. Reason being, if you're playing all kinds of notes and you're traveling up the scale and then you're traveling halfway down and then traveling back up and then all the way down and it's just all over the place, the music's not appealing. The music has to have consistency. That's what creates that tune in your mind that gets stuck in there. If you can't remember the song because the tunes are everywhere, then you're never going to want to listen to the song again. And that's just how it is. You can't have too much going on in the song. I've heard a lot of music where there's a lot of different instruments going on. There's a lot of different noises, and that ruins the song. And I think that's dubstep's biggest problem. Besides the consistency, besides it just being a bunch of random noise, there's too much going on in the song, and you can't really feel it. It's just noise. You could listen to traffic, and you could listen to a freeway, and you could listen to a busy park or a busy office building, and you can actually make a rhythm out of that, or it could just be noise. You have to decide how you want to create it. But if there is no consistency and if there's too much going on, then it's just noise. It's not music. A lot of dubstep, honestly, it's not music. It's just noise put together because there's no consistency. Let's see. A lot of artists are starting to include dubstep into their songs. It's one of the things I've noticed, and that is okay. That works, but you can't use a lot of it. The reason being is that dubstep, even a good dubstep song, it has to be with its kind. You can't take out 10 minutes. Or I can't even say 10 minutes. You can't take out 20 minutes of a dubstep song and put it in your song and expect it to mesh. It doesn't work. The dubstep, if you're going to include maybe 5, maybe 10 seconds at the most of a dubstep song and put it into your mix, one, it has to bridge. You have to connect to your song from where it's flowing into the dubstep section, and it has to flow back out again. If you just throw it in there and split your song in half, interject it, it's not going to work. It doesn't sound right. It sounds choppy because you're going up here and then you're dropping it down here and then you're going back up here again. Or vice versa. It doesn't work. And a lot of the times the beats won't match up. But I wouldn't include more than 10 seconds. 5 seconds is a good beat. Just a little bit of taste in there and then take it back out, because dubstep, it's its own branch of music. It doesn't really blend with other musics, but it can be included. So you can dabble with it a little bit. So that's, and I'm about halfway into my song, or my video right now. But that's what I wanted to talk about today. We went over a little bit of lyrics, a little bit of the music. I was originally creating these videos so you can understand how I see music, because I don't see music the same way a lot of people see music. A lot of people, they like their kind of music, and they'll listen to other people's music. If you love country, You'll probably listen to a lot of country, probably a little bit of rock and roll. You're not going to listen to a lot of rap. That's just not what you're, excuse me, that's not your taste. It's not the taste of your friends. And that doesn't interest you. And I totally get that. But I have taken the time to realize that there is greatness in every genre. Music means something to me that I cannot explain, but it is my one true hobby. Um, there's a lot of things that will catch my interest. There's a lot of things that come in and out of my life that, one week I'll love motocross. I ride motocross. I race motocross. Um, and so, I'll spend a week watching motocross YouTube videos, and I'll spend a week um, looking them up online and thinking, okay, if I save up this much, I can buy a dirt bike because they cost right around $8,000 or $9,000. And that'll be so cool. Yeah. And then the next week it'll be guns, and I'll look at guns, and I'll think about going to the shooting range, and I'll look at ammo prices, and be like, all right, if I save this much money, I can buy a new gun. And then the next week it'll be something else. But music is the one thing that has never gone away. And I may spend a week thinking about going to music production school. That's kind of my goal right now, and that will probably stick around for a while. But I'm always listening to music. There's not a day that goes by if I have a choice that I can listen to music. That is one of the best things about getting out of basic training is that I get this little thing every day. I get my laptop that I'm recording this on, and every single day, I gotta go. Every single day, I can listen to music, and it has been. I love it. I love music with all of my heart. So, because of that, I can put my time into it, and I can sit here and I can understand all these different dynamics of what makes a song great. A song is so little. It's 3.5 minutes. You'll spend 3.5 minutes listening through a song all the way through. You may listen to 10 million songs over your lifetime, but if you only listen to a song once, that 3.5 minutes changes your life. It changes the way that you see things. Sorry, that happened again. That's what I'm passionate about. Is that 3.5 minutes. And I want to go to music production school. I want to create a business that rivals Spotify, that rivals Pandora, especially Pandora. I hate Pandora. That's for a different video. I want to create events like Tomorrowland, like freaking Coachella. I want to create those events one day. I want to put on a giant, huge music festival one day that thousands, that millions of people show up to and play the greatest music that's ever been created. I want to do that one day. That is my dream. That is my goal. Before I get there, I have to understand music better than anybody else. And I have the ears for it. I pick up those little details. I can recognize. You give me a song, I can tell you if it's going to sell, how big it's going to be, and I can tell you what the problems are. I can tell you if it's a perfectly played song. I can tell you where the problems are, where it needs to be fixed, what needs to be changed so that it sells infinitely. And that's why I make these videos, so that you can understand how I do what I do. So please, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more. I don't know when I'll make the next one, just because I'm busy with this stuff. And if you're interested in that depressing music playlist, let me know and I'll put it out there for you. So thank you very much, and I hope you have a great day.